Morning, guys. It's Terrence. Welcome to the channel. I had promised to bring you some game footage where I actually downloaded it rather than try to play it off of the email. So I'm only going to go over 10, 12 minutes worth, if that, right? It don't take a whole lot to alright, this is a Fever Liberty without CC last game. Obviously, we all know they got pretty well hammered. Of course, a few things to remember. Some of these things are no shit, right? But, and you would think, Steph White being defensive guru, right, would have picked up on what the other team's defense was trying to do to our team. I mean, if you said absolute worst case in the first half of the first quarter and change the game plan, I mean, game plans go to shit. That's not like once in a blue moon. It happens every now and again, this and that. Sometimes it happens pretty regular. We all watch the same film, the same games, we see the same things. We may see things differently because you played or you didn't play. So, you just see the score or the scorers. You see, what the other team's doing to make a basket. They did this, they did that. Obviously, some of the, not some of, all the analysts, they see it all. And, when you're watching a game, they typically do a good job breaking it down. Basketball, a little different than football. Football has a few more breaks, and Brady or Romo or whomever has the opportunity to actually break a few things down, highlight some things as the game's going on. Basketball, they don't have that kind of time. They got to jump in, jump out, get it back to the play-by-play guy. Haven't had an opportunity to say this, so I'm going to say it now. I mean, anybody else WNBA wise, right? I always put my hand up. It's like, just stop right there with the whole play-by-play and the analyst, right? For, in this case, the WNBA. Short of Ryan Ruocco, the rest of the play-by-play people, regardless of the network, need to find another job because they are so bad, so bad. CBS, ABC, I don't give a shit. Ryan Ruocco, you worth millions of dollars. I don't know how much you're getting paid, but you worth definitely, this is at the bare minimum. You worth a whole lot more than Stephen A. Smith worth the damn ESPN. Everybody got their own opinion, alright? All ESPN does, watch, highlight, and state the obvious. You know what I'm saying? And Ionescu with the big game. No shit. Everybody can read a box score. Everybody don't know what plus minus means. It's deceiving sometimes when you look at plus minus and how somebody's game went. Maybe two totally different things. Maybe plus 10 and played like shit. It's just the way it goes. Alright, so in this one here, like I say, a lot of these things are kind of basic, but you slow it down and you watch it in hindsight, obviously. But you see these things and you're like, oh wow, I had no idea it was that bad, but it really was that bad. I don't see the Fever playing this bad in tonight's game versus the Liberty. and this isn't just, even though I think Sandy Brondello is a hell of a coach. You know, similar to a Steve Kerr for the Warriors, he let Steph be Steph and Clay be Clay. In a nutshell, Steph said, "I'm gonna shoot whenever I want, wherever I want." Okay, as a player, obviously you can get away with that as long as they go down, at least occasionally, right? So Steve Kerr will come out on his post-game press conferences. Stephanie White needs to take a page out of his book on how to do a press conference after a game when you have a superstar. And we're not just talking about superstar. We're talking about right now, today. What is today? July 22nd, 2025. The most popular athlete in sports, male or female, period. Hands down, Caitlin Clark. CC22, hashtag, whatever. The terms are these days. I think there's a meme about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a hashtag for your hashtag for the hashtag, or whatever. But, uh, you know, she has the Steph Curry when he got hot, when they were big, when they went on their run and won the 4 championships and things like that. And all Steve Kerr could do, because you're talking about a coach who in the NBA was a 5-time NBA champion as a player. That's another thing that Stephanie White, the Fever organization, because a lot of times we or people will talk about the front office, you know, Stephanie White herself, whatever the case may be, right, is really boils down to this: is as a coach or even a player, but as a player, Caitlin hadn't said anything. She hadn't said anything about any other players. She hadn't said anything about the way her team's playing. You know, the offensive plays they're running, the defensive plays they're running. Uh, you know, she's done everything right. You know, uh, if I said shooting slump aside, not that it's even really a shooting slump, because none of us have absolutely any idea how much this injury has affected her game. But I think it's, well, you ain't got to be damn rocket scientist to figure out it obviously has something to do with it. You know, taking those shots. You don't take 40 footers and shoot them like jump shots without strong legs, period. Okay, some people might say, you know, you got, it's all legs. Well, not really. It's, I mean, not really. Not, it's, you know, it's both. You know, it's a good mix of your arms and your legs. You know, now how much of each that each player uses, obviously on a professional level, they know for the most part. That shot's good, that shot's off. You know, you can watch Steph of the gazillion times that he would throw it up and was already on the other side of half court, didn't even look. He knew it was going in. I mean, that's how many times they shoot in a game. Not in a game, dang. That's how many times they've shot the ball since they were 3, 4 years old until now. This is what they do for a living, right? Won't go or make this too terribly long, and like I say, too deep as far as the whole CBA, you know. And do I personally hope that, you know, they come to some agreement? Absolutely, I do. Uh, do I think they should make more? I do. Now, do I think all players in the league had even a small portion to do with it? No, I don't. But that's not the point. The point is the dollars as an owner, and as I mentioned the other day, that you need to see and that they're looking at bottom line, right? So your TV deals, your team sponsorships, your merch sales, all that are, I mean, drastic. We're not talking about they went up 5%. They went up 10, 20%. Shit. They went up, I mean, exponentially. Now, I do, or I can see where they might say, well, if we could do and then see a continual, or if we could see this over more than just 1 year or 2 years. I'm not saying it would be stupid, obviously, for the players to agree on anything where they say, well, let's see, if this keeps happening for 10 years, then obviously I would be the same as they are and say, fuck that, and fuck you, no. After year 2 here, well, we're only halfway through, but halfway through year 2 here, we're still showing you the money. And I don't know how to say this. It's going to offend people either way, right? She is. Caitlin Clark's still showing you the money, right? She's bringing those eyes to the sport. She's, well, her jersey always sold out. All right. Nike found out the hard way. Tried to downplay, bring up another signature shoe at that for other players or another WNBA player. I'm not going to mention names and stuff or throw anybody under the bus. I'm going to stay with Dave Portnoy's point on his, I think it's an Insta something or other he sent. Obviously, I seen it on a YouTube video. I told you I don't have none of that shit. But anyway, where he said, yeah, they definitely deserve a pay raise. They do. I mean, times have changed since, and it's always going to change, whether it's 1 year, 4 years, 5 years, however often that they decide they want to renegotiate, right? Cost of living's gone up. Same with benefits or anything else for that matter. So, yes. So obviously then, salary cap per team is going to have to go up significantly. Now is it going to go from 1.54 million that it is right now to 100 million per team in this particular CBA deal? No. I can promise you right now that's not going to happen. Now, if a team's salary cap went to somewhere between 10 and 20 million, now we can pay our best players up to, let's just say, between 4 and 600,000 annually, and so a player can sign a longer term deal, and they can, a team can fit it in the budget based on their annual, because even if it's I'll use dummy figures, 10-year deal, and it's and it's a $5 million contract, right? Well, that would be a what I say, 5-year contract and 10 mil, so that'd be weak at 200,000. But so a player got something like that. Well, that's nothing on your newly assigned $10 million. Okay, so $10 million per team. This is figuring low, but 10 million per team, 12 teams. There again, redneck math, be give or take 120 million, right? I mean, that's pennies on the dollar right now to what the girls are bringing in. And when I say the girls are bringing in, I'm going to include everybody as a whole. I'm not just going to single it out. Say that, it's Caitlin Clark. Yes. But now that she's arrived and has brought these eyes, we're getting to see the other players, know some of their names, and watch them play also when they play the Fever, things of that nature. So, yes, I think they'll work out a deal. I think the players do need to simmer on, because, last of what I had seen as far as that deal goes. Wasn't really a deal from the as far as what the owners were throwing out, and it's not really a deal either as far as the players are concerned, because they're saying they're standing on business, and they're gonna, whatever proposal they've thrown out, take it or leave it. I don't think they should leave it necessarily like that. They should obviously both have, and I say the owners, which would only be 16%, is owners and other investors. NBA owns 42%. WNBA execs is the other 42% of the WNBA ownership. So it would be owners, and WNBA execs are who the WNBA Players Association is dealing with. They do have professional business people involved and are helping them negotiate their new CBA agreement. Now, to all that, I will still also say that the players need to realize. Well, when I say realize, what I mean is it's never going to go same as a car, right? You're never going from 0 to 60 and no time comes off the clock, right? You go 0 to 60 in 4.2. That's fast car. But so likewise, you don't go from Supermax at 250 to Supermax being I $10 million a year. I don't know what the exact figure that they're asking for, max per year. Me still personally, based on the numbers that they're bringing in right now, to to actually say $1 million. So there again, dumb math. If you said Caitlin Clark Supermax was got 10-year contract, so $10 million, so it'd be $1 million a year. That's a fourfold increase from what Supermax was. That's one player, but there again, that's over 10 years. So that's only $1 million off of their team total salary cap. So the salary cap per team's got to change to somewhere between 15 and 20 million to be 1,000%. I don't know, what do kids call it nowadays? To keep it a buck, to keep it 100, keep it 1,000, whatever they want to do. Depending on how much you got in your wallet, I guess. For me, it'd be however much in my change bucket over here. I mean, if it was 20 million times 10 players on your roster, so 200 million per team. Salary cap max. Add the 2 players. I mean, Indiana right now still has a roster slot. Does that make any sense? We just passed. Didn't even consider Mieseman or the other young lady that was just picked up by the Liberty. I don't know if she'll get any or much playing time tonight. I think she's joined the team a day or a few days ago. But we didn't even look at either one of them. They're both great players. And, we don't, Leah Boston aside, Howard, does decent in the paint. But we don't have another all-around, and I'll just say a Leah Boston, for example, right? All right, so here we go. Right, I'm just gonna through the video. I said I wouldn't make it too terribly long, so I'm not gonna wear you guys out this morning. Let me make sure I got the audio off, even though it can't be copyrighted. they send it to me. All right, so here we go. Now, all right, whoa, right there. So all game long, right off the bat, look, we're 50 seconds into the game. And Steph White's supposed to be a defensive, all right, and I know, hey, I had to super duper large my mouse so I could move it around so I don't have to worry about, not worry about, but so I, because I didn't feel like drawing on the board, right? But look, you got two. So you got your fronting, you got three on the backside, got to help. I mean, look, she don't look like she gonna about do much, and she's doing like Boston needs to do when she's on defense, and not coming out here to guard her, even though Boston will take that shot. But I'm just telling you right now, short of Jonquel Jones, Dantas makes a few, right? But her overall season percentage, hold on, somebody trying to call, I told you that's why a lot of time I hate doing my videos honestly on the phone because it beeps right at you and whatever. But I should turn the volume off before I start my video. Anyway, but yeah, short of Jonquel Jones, because like I say, you can look at Donna's percentages from three. If you're gonna let a team beat you, make them shoot threes all game, and make them. They're bigs at that, right? No reason to get hung up on screens up here. See, the Fever can't do what they want to do on offense right here because this player's not coming up to pick up Boston. So now she's like, what the fuck are we about to do here? So let's see what we do. Because I haven't watched any more of it than y'all have. Okay, so we're not, see now look, you still got two right here. She's just dead up looking because her player's still not doing nothing. And then you got Stewie right there, right? She's peripheral. She sees them both, Ball and the other player. And Howard's gonna try to back her down. And if that's, then she should get some help. Look, there's another one right there. All right, she got that layup, but yeah, Sabrina just decided not to slide over and help. Now here we go. All right, so now see, and even just like tonight's game, that's fine. Because that girl is, you know, she may take them, but the percentages are not great. We got hung up on the screen. Who knew? But now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 white jerseys. All right. She nailed it, so it didn't matter. Now I look dumb. It's all good. Happens. Okay. See? Swapping. Okay, look. That was a no-brainer. This is what I'm saying. That's a no-brainer right there. For them to stay back like they did messes up our game plan. And this is the same thing we have to do to other teams because all they're worried about is right here. Miss AB. Alright, other players are going to make shots. Other players have to step up and make shots. If we're going to win games without CC, we got to make shots. The only way that we're going to get players open is if our guards get paint touches. That's what creates the chaos for the defense. But look, they weren't a bit shit and scared of our screening and whatever. When we screen this low, alright, and that's the only way to do it when you have guards and players, which is every team except for ENSQ, Caitlin Clark, a few others that can actually make the 40-footers. Saab and CC are the only ones that are going to chuck the 40-footers at will. The other ones are only if they dare them to, basically. So let me play again. Alright, see? So she was open, missed. Look at their blocking out. But they were already ready to block out because they had, you know, they were playing for Boston, so you already had 3 players down there. And they crashed the boards. We're not getting a body on a body. When they shoot, they're getting second, third, fourth chance shot opportunities. All we were getting was 1. Here again, high screen. I say high screen, right? right at the 3-point line. Okay, Boston's over here, so she's fine. You get two players. No idea why we have three. But the play ain't even started yet. But anybody that knows and is watching the game live in real time, and it goes quick. But you see it right off the bat. You're like, there's two, at least, if they don't make three. You screwed yourself. They reset now. You just saw that, right? The spacing. So all Phoebe's got to do is take Sophie to the rim. That ain't really asking a whole lot. Let me see if I can back this up just a smidge. Because that was at what, 120 or 130 something. But here, now you get, that was same as a while ago. Howard backing her down. Got the basket. Because Sabrina didn't come over and help. I mean, she was standing right there. I don't know why she didn't, but then yeah, that screen there, wide open. But we didn't get them up off, get them out. 27 feet. You can let them shoot three right at the 3-point line or us. Then those are actual high quality shots. A big shooting a 30 something footer is not a high quality shot. Right here's what I was talking about. Spacing. Look, whole paint area, wide open, wide open. No help, no love, nowhere. Because you got Boston way over here near the 3-point line. She'll slide in. It's way too late. Your next closest big's right here. So all Phoebe's gonna do, blow past her. Gone. That's all that player had to do was come up towards Phoebe. Bring Boston with her, and that was, even that much more wide open. So I'm just picking it up as the game plays here a little bit, instead of just picking and choosing. See, why? No idea. Now Boston's got to run somewhere. You're going to set a screen out here. Caitlin ain't in the game. And Ari, I'm sorry, much as we all love you, can't make that shot. No day. Unless it's in practice and she heaving it. No coach is going to say that. That was a good shot. That's a good look. Doesn't matter where Caitlin shoots from. As a coach, you got to say it was a good look. Just like Steph. It was a good looking shot. 3 guys on it. And he nailed it. It was a good look. What do you mean? Okay, so see, that was a little better. We had screen lower, much lower, for Kelsey, wide open. Now, still, they've got 1, 2, 3, just so we can see on the screen here. We got no chance for a second shot if it don't go. So, we kind of got lucky to stay in the game as long as we did. All right, here goes kind of a ghost screen. But look, you got Natasha Cloud backing her down. No help. That's a guard paint touch. Now, Kelsey's going to try, but they're going to block her out from that and worry about whoever's in the low post, which in that case was Howard. She has no choice but to kick it back out. All right, we got a foul on that one. But that's just because that was what this girl, that player, was told was, once you realize, or if you realize you don't have any help, you got to foul her. You don't have a choice. We would rather her make 2 free throws than get an easy layup. That's just basketball. Like I said, there's nothing special, nothing fancy about it. See, no help. None. You're Stephanie White. Now, I don't know what that's saying, right? You're Stephanie White. Because nobody really, you don't really have tons of credentials. When I say tons of credentials, I just mean, you're not standing on 4 titles as a coach. Like I say, Steve Kerr sitting on 5 as a player and 4 as a coach. Shit, that's in Phil Jackson range. What's Phil got? 10? Damn. Pat Riley 10, close to. So we're 10-7, but it's in the, where we're at, 7-minute mark. So it's at the a little more than halfway through the first quarter, and the Liberties start to pull away. Of course, we all know this. We all saw the game. Look, they still got 4 in the paint. So even if we don't make that basket, we got no opportunity at second chance. Look, go screen. Kelsey's man's done gone. So if Saab saw it and wanted that pass, it's a layup. Now paint. Here goes Boston, because her man's going to swing wide. Paint's wide open. Oh, there goes Stewie. Because Boston had to respect the kick out to the 3-point player. That's why, there again, I keep saying paint touches. But we got to stop ball. You know what I mean? That's keeping their players out of the paint. There we go. There's our guard in the paint. Well, we got easy layup. We're lost on the screen again. She just happened to miss a layup. They called the foul. Donkey. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, right? Is they're running this motion offense. So people say Steph White's motion offense. Oh, what they need to be doing is running a read, react, blah, blah, blah. To everybody that says that, because you have to know what it means to run, read, and react. Okay, read, react is also a motion variety offense. Alright? It's in the same category. You say motion offense, you say read, react. Still a motion offense. Alright? The Golden State Warriors 5 high motion is still a motion offense. It's just a set play. Alright? So what they need to start saying is, it don't matter if that's a damn ESPN woke donkeys and McDougal and whoever else is giving their takes. Their takes ain't worth a shit anyway. Sometimes I mean I can't watch it. It's like, I don't know. It's about mostly unwatchable. Because when they want to do their highlights or whatever the case may be, they're not showing us anything we didn't already see when we watched the game. And then here goes, Brianna Stewart taking them, and for the easy one. No shit. They had a play-by-play announcer for the game. He said the same thing. We really did good. That's a hell of a job. ESPN. You're gonna pay analysts, right? So, you got Shanae. Obviously, you got Nancy Lieberman. You got Lobo, right? You have actual, legit, former professional women's basketball players on your payroll, but instead you get a college player or there's one or two obviously that I know that played college that did well. The one, like I said, I hate throwing names, but yeah, the one played some college, but she sucked. It is what it is, right? Just numbers. Most everything in life's about numbers. But all right, the motion offense, Steph's motion offense specifically, is just like when people were in middle school and they called number one, number two, X, Y, Z. All right, so at the professional level, obviously, you're not hollering out this or that, right? Ari brings the ball up the court after a made basket, and she, crosses half court at the on the right hand side of the half court circle, means play X is what we're running. So Boston and Howard here know to come up and run this double drag for Airy, which we'll see if it works out. But either way, that's the difference, right? And the read react, the only difference is Caitlin Clark, when she's bringing the ball down the floor, and that's why I said, okay, a player that's given the ability to run a read and react variety motion offense means they have a decision making area. So let's just say it is the half court circle. That's when she has that's it. Now it can be there, it can be the paint. They can have more than one decision making area. Usually just one. Obviously in the pros, that shot clocks quite a bit shorter, and you don't have time to run too damn many plays anyway. So if it's read react and it's Caitlin, all right, she reaches, or not even reaches, before she gets, that's just how far ahead she can see on defense, right? This is 99.9% of your teams have at the very minimum 2 lines of defense. You got up above the 3-point line, you got around the free throw line. Sometimes you got to get through 3 lines of defense. So very special talent and players to be able to see and like that. Where's my finger? I can't see my finger on the camera. All right, so that's where the whole basketball IQ and court vision are 2 entirely separate things. And I keep trying to say that because people always say, "Who she is," and some of the times those damn announcers, play-by-play, will say that, and Boston has, super high basketball IQ. Man, she's super smart. All right, well that and being able to see everything, that and the court vision, that I'll call it, right, is 2 entirely separate things. You can be the smartest player on the court, but if you don't have court vision, it don't mean shit. You can be the smartest player on the court and tell us what we did wrong after the game when we go back to watching film, right? But, Clark's ability, Steph Curry's ability to see all of it kind of transpire in their head and react is why Caitlin's able to make those 3-quarter full court passes, because you have to have that IQ and also have the court vision to see and to know and be able to react on a whim where people should end up, where they should be. Now sometimes they may not end up on the same page. That's where a handful of Caitlin's turnovers have come from. And a lot of times it comes now read react so that people don't misunderstand. That is not the team reads the defense. No, and hell no. That ain't the way it works. The team is reading Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's reading the defense. She comes down and she crosses the half court on the right hand side of the half court circle, means you're running Y, Z. She comes down dead in the middle, means you're running TU, X, now TV, whatever. I don't know my alphabet. I'm not telling you where I'm from. That's neither here nor there, right? Ain't the point of my video. So she's telling them where to be, and she can decide that based on what she sees, not Steph White saying it's going to be this, telling Ari that in the back court, and then Ari crossing on the right hand side of the half court circle means they're going to run XYZ, right? Because nobody gives a shit if Steph White thinks this is what they're going to run, because obviously and especially in the first not the first but the second New York Liberty Indiana game when CC wasn't playing, um, that's the difference in what Steph White saw versus what CC sees when, even though, yeah, when she's playing and more or less, like a quarterback, calling the plays, calling an audible at the line, changing something. She sees it, like I say, where she goes, tells everybody exactly where they need to be. She just called the play by where she went or who she passed the ball to, a DHO, whatever the case may be. A clear out. I mean, hell, everybody knows what that means anyway. So here we go again. All right, so Boston's up there just trying to screen every damn body. But nobody was open. You had 2, 3 players in the paint. And New York's going to do the same thing. Why wouldn't they? It worked last time, right? Is to clog up the paint and take away, your paint points and your big man in a nutshell. And that was their game plan, was to shut down Boston. If you only have to shut down one, that's easy. I don't care if it's professional, if it's junior pro. If a team only has one player, any opposing coach has 2 choices, and that's to either shut that player down and make the rest of the team beat them, or shut the rest of the team down, let that player get their 20 or 30, and bank on that player not being able to score 90 by themselves, which is, like I say, what the Liberty did. And obviously she didn't, so it didn't work out. But that's my video for this morning. Hope y'all have a wonderful, amazing Tuesday. I'll make another video where my face is a little bigger, I guess. It's a little small for the when you're showing the video replays. But anyway, hopefully that helps a little bit on what Fever need to do if they're going to, because there again, this is just, everybody can have their own opinion and their keys to the game and things that need to happen, have to happen. What did I say? Stop ball. All right, and I think in one of my most recent videos I said, I'm done talking about the other shit because they can't stop ball. That's got to happen, right? And then the other, they're basic things. There again, saying it and being able to do it are 2 different things, especially at the higher levels. It gets more and more difficult. But yeah, keeping the other team, in this case the Liberty, off the offensive glass, limiting them to, tonight's game will come down to those 2 things right there. Stopping ball, not letting their guards get paint touches, and keeping them off the offensive glass, because I don't think the Liberty are going to be able to shoot the percentage for the game that they shot last time, and I don't think the Fever are going to shoot as poorly as they did. But then again, you do have to have some second chance opportunities. So some of the other players, even if it's 1-2, they got to crash the glass, try to get the easy putback layup, what have you, right? I get fired up about it sometimes. I need to simmer down, I guess. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Comment, drop it below. Like I say, have a wonderful Tuesday.